Hey guys, it's Jessica, and I am back with another tutorial. And this tutorial is how to get started with Google Classroom. This is going to be very, very basic about getting started with Google Classroom. And I am not a complete expert on Google Classroom, but I do know the basics and I can help you troubleshoot and as much as I can. And I do know enough to get you started. And what I don't know, I am willing to figure out. So let's get started. Okay, so I have my little Google Classroom over here. In this, on this screen, I am the teacher. On this screen is my student view. So Jessica Meyer is the teacher, and I just named this class Mrs. Meyer. And as the student, I see who my instructor is right there. I see how many students I have as the teacher. So I'm going to just show you the teacher view for this video, but I just wanted to kind of show you what it looks like for a student. So let's go to it. So I'm going to go ahead and enter my classroom. Actually, we're going to start from ground zero. So once you go to classroom.google.com, you will, actually, if you go to Google Classroom and you probably already signed up because you have to, you can create your own Google Classroom like I did right here. I created my own Google Classroom, but I can't have students in there. It's completely free what I did, but I can't have students in there unless my school has signed up for it. And you're signed up for the G Suite education. So once you get here, you're going to decide to do a couple of things. So you are either going to join a class or create a class. If you were a student, you could join a class and then just enter a code. If you're a teacher, you're going to create a class. So I am a teacher, so I'm going to create a class. Even though I already did, you can have more than one class. And the reason that that is important is because you could have different classrooms for different subjects, especially if you teach multiple grade levels. If you teach, like if you're a middle school teacher and you teach different subjects or grade levels across the day, and if you're an elementary teacher, then you would probably want to have one classroom for each subject. So that's something to think about as well. So I'm going to create a class. I'm going to create a reading class or ELA. So I might call it, I would add your first name. So I might say Mrs. Meyer's reading class. And then section, I could put, you can put whatever you want. You could put you might have some guidelines like from your school for what you should put, but you could put like just your reading block for a subject. I'm thinking like if you're teaching elementary school, like these things are not typically as important as long as it's clear like what it is. So I'm going to say reading, and then, whoops, I just kicked myself out of there. Let's try that again. So let's say Mrs. Meyer's reading class, and this is during my reading block. The subject is reading, and then the room is 110. Just making that up. And then click create. So then you're creating your class. All right, there's my reading class. So then it also kind of walks you through. So invite your students to your class. So got it. So there's my class code. So I can also put that big so that students, if I want to share that with students, I can do that easily. Like if they're in your classroom right now, we're distance learning. So that's that. So you'll probably invite your students by email, or if you have a way to send out the code, like a screenshot or something, you could do it that way as well. So somehow, some way you want to get your students in your classroom, and those are the two ways. I'll show you that, or that's one way. I'll show you the other way in just a moment. So Right here is the stream. So any like announcements or communication is where everything's going to go right there. I don't have anything in this classroom yet because I just set it up. So if you are setting it up by subjects, then you might want to color code just the little image right here. So you can do that by selecting the theme. So let's say it's reading class. So let's see what we have some books. Actually, there's books already there. Maybe Google is so smart. They just knew that's what I was going to do. So let's say I could just leave it the way it is actually, because that's all books. And then there's math and science. So I could have a different one for science, just kind of color code it and make it easier for you and your students so you can kind of visually see what to do. Since this is my reading class, I'm going to leave it exactly the way it is. And it just kind of shows the subject, the room number. That's what happens when you click that little arrow. And so you can see like I don't really have any student posts or anything going on. So the next thing is the classwork section. So here, this is where you're going to create any of your assignments. And I'm going to go back and show you that in just a moment. But I don't have any students yet, so I want to make sure that I invite some students. So if I go to people, I have me, the teacher, and no students. That's so sad. So I'm going to invite some students. Let me back up my thoughts. So one of the things is that you have to, like, I can't just invite anybody to be in my classroom. They have to be in the same domain as my account. So I have a G Suite account for the Literacy Loft. So that's why I'm able to invite my other email address, my other person, me, into this classroom. But if your school is not signed up for G Suite education or domain, then this isn't going to help you. So that's something just to remember. And I said at the beginning of the video, but if you really want to get started with Google Classroom, I would definitely reach out to your admin or school because I think it's pretty amazing and the internet runs on Google. So it's definitely the way to go. All right. I'm not biased or anything. Okay. So here I'm going to type an email, a name or email for my students. So there I am. And I'm going to invite. And there we go. So I have my students in there. So when that happens, I'm going to get an email. So I'm going to actually go over here and I'm going to pause this just in case just for some privacy. Okay, so I received an email that I was invited to Mrs. Meyer's reading class reading blog. So I'm going to join so that I can get access to see what I've got going on. So what's tricky here, I don't want to be confusing, but Gmail, it just automatically logged me in as my primary account. So I'm actually still seeing it as a teacher. So that's why I'm not going to focus on being a student right now. I'm going to focus on being a teacher. Okay, so I've got a student in my classroom, and now I'm going to go to, let me see if let me just refresh this real quick. Let me see if my student showed up. Not yet, that's okay. Okay, we're moving on. So here, I'm going to assign my classwork. So let's create an assignment. So once I get in here, I'm going to create an assignment. So I'm going to add the morning work. So let's say I'm going to pause this just to make sure I know what I'm doing. Okay, so in the title, I'm going to do this for the morning work. So third grade, I'm actually want to be specific, even though I'm in my reading class. Third grade ELA morning work, March week 3. So that's what I'm calling it. And then you don't have to put instructions, but you can. So I'm putting in my instructions, complete your morning work each day. And then I'm giving it to all students. It's 100 points. And I probably want to say, since it's morning work and it's Monday through Friday, then I probably want to make it due on Friday. And you can put a time, like if you want to just give them until midnight on Friday. And then topic, you can create a topic. So like you might do, since if morning work is something that you're going to regularly have your students do, then you might name it morning work. And if you have a rubric, I'm thinking that would come quite handy when it comes to teaching writing. But for the morning work, maybe you don't have that right now. Maybe just do 100 points, or maybe you do like 5 points per day for completion, like a completion grade. So maybe you just do 25 points. Let's say that just to make it easy. Okay, so next up, here's the fun part. We're going to add it. So, or you can create something, but if you are adding a resource that you already have, then you're going to add it from your Google Drive. So then you can just search. You can definitely like scroll down here and try to figure everything out. Or if you know what it's named, you can just do a quick search. So I know that this is third grade March. There we go. What am I on? Week 3. So make sure I grab the right one. There it is. So exciting. My next really important step is to be sure if they can only view the file, they're not going to be able to edit it. And it's really important that they're able to edit it because they can't do it if they don't, if they can only view it. So you want to change this to not students can edit file, because then they're editing one, but you want to make a copy for each student. So you're going to make a copy for each student. That's really important. So then each student will have their own copy of the morning work, and it will also put their name on it, which is amazing. All right, so then I'm going to click assign. Let me see what that drop down is. Okay, so you can schedule, if you wanted to schedule this, like if you wanted to, you could go ahead and put all of your morning work in for the month and then schedule it. Or you could just assign it every week. So if I'm ready to assign this, then I'm going to go ahead and click assign. And now all of my students should have this morning work. There we go. So underneath classwork, now I can see the things that I have assigned there. And you can see the topics that I have. So that's important. Like if I had different things that I consistently used in the classroom, like maybe weekly assessments, I would also put that as a topic so I can kind of keep track of that as well. All right, so from here, I'm going to click on this. So this is an assignment that I have. So I can see that none of my students have turned it in, and I haven't assigned it to any students because apparently my student that I invited didn't join properly yet. That's okay. But you would see how many students it was assigned to and then how many students turned it in. Okay. So if you go to view assignment, you can also kind of see like which students have turned it in and everything like that, and all that fun stuff. And there's the instructions. So this little hamburger menu, this is still all your Google apps. So that's going to take you out of Google Classroom. So be careful with that. This little hamburger menu kind of keeps track of all like the different parts of your Google Classroom. So it keeps track of, like, I have 2 classes now. I have my reading class and I have my regular 4th grade class that I was just kind of playing around with to play around with the bells and whistles. So if I go to do, this is what's really helps me kind of keep track of what is in there. So these are the work in progress. And so these are the ones that have no due date. So it's kind of organized, and I can go to just my reading class and look at that. And then I don't have any work to review. So that's all I'm going to do with this video. Actually, I'm going to show you one more thing. I'm going to pause it and show you how students will submit the assignment to you. So I'm going to pause that and get in my student mode and make sure my student joins my classroom and does her work. And then I will show you how students will submit the assignment to you. Okay, so if I am looking I'm going to go in as a student. So now I'm in student mode, and I see that I clicked to join, but I never actually joined. So I missed a step. No wonder I'm not in my teacher's classroom. So I'm going to join. And then once I get in there, I see that, I have a new assignment, so I better get started. So this is my student view. I can see that I have morning work to do. And so you can kind of see also how the topics are organized. So I have morning work, and then you could do topics like classwork or homework, depending on what you're doing. So this organizes my different topics of tasks for reading, so I can keep track of what I need to do. So I've got my morning work in here, and I'm going to go do my morning work. I better get started. So my teacher gave me directions to complete my morning work each day. So I'm going to click on that and get started. So you can see, because this is the name of my G Suite, my Google account is the Literacy Loft team. So it automatically named it the Literacy Loft team. So that's pretty cool, because even though I have the direction for students to add their name, they don't need to do that because Google Drive or Google Classroom has already done that for them. That's so exciting. Whoops, got too many screens. Okay, so the next thing is I'm in here doing my work, and so students can easily, for the morning work, they can click on here. So which word best? I'm going to pretend that I'm reading, and I'm doing all my answers, and limit, control, those are synonyms. So I'm doing all my work. It saved it for me. And so what is really nice is that, so I have that little predicament where I'm in, this is still saving to my Google Drive. So what I do want you to see is that if I go, whoops, wrong thing. Here we go. So if I go back over here and I go to my drive, I'm still in the correct drive, there is my morning work that I'm working on. So I don't want a new morning work each time that I go into classwork. I'm still working on the same one. And so so it's right there in my Google Drive. So let me X out of these. Remember, it's saving. Okay, so I'm here. So let's say that I am done with my morning work. If I go to, let me just recap what I just did right there. I'm going to go back. So this is my morning work, and it's saved. It's already saved in my drive. If I go to view assignment, then I can turn it in here whenever I'm ready. And that's how students turn it in. And then just to go back and show you another way students might see it, your class drive folder, that's where also all of your work is. So if I wanted to quickly whoops, that's not what I meant to do. It automatically, for the student, it automatically created a classroom folder and then a folder for each class. So all of my work is in here. So instead of going outside in a different browser, I'm going to X out of all of this. Okay, so here I am in my classroom. Instead of exiting all the way out, if I go to classwork and then I go to, I can go to this and I can go here to my class drive folder, and there's my morning work. Whoops, now I'm in teacher. Let me pause this before I get confusing. Okay, so also just I got a little bit out of order, but also just so you know, you can also see, like, when students have their little icons, they can see if they have something due. So I don't have anything due, or at least I didn't have a due date on it. So that's why it is kind of important to put a due date so that students get those little reminders as well. So when I go in here, as I'm in student mode. So once I go in here and I go to, I can go here to go to my assignment and turn it in. I can go to the to-do section and find the ones that I need to do. Oh, that one's due soon. It's red. I can go there and click turn it in. And yeah, let me move on from there. Okay. So to turn it in, I just click turn it in. So one attachment will be submitted, and it's the one that is saved in my folder. So I'm just going to click turn in. And then it's all turned into my teacher. So I can unsubmit it. Like, let's say, oh, no, I didn't actually finish it, and I want to unsubmit. Then I can go in and make any changes and then turn it in when I'm ready. So that's easy peasy. Students don't have to share it with you. They can just turn it in through the Google Classroom. And I think that's it. So I'm going to pause this, go into my teacher account, and show you what it looks like when students have submitted to you as a teacher. Okay, so now I'm in teacher mode, and I have some students that looks like I have submitted some work. So I can go to classwork. Okay, so I don't know if you caught that or not, but my student did not turn in her assignment, so she had to go in and turn it in again. So here I am back in as a teacher. I'm in the teacher's mode right now. And so I want to see, let's see if I have anything to do. It says I have one person has turned in, so I can go here. And here it looks like one of my students has turned in their assignment. So then what I can do, and Google kind of walks this through you, you can pop it out in a full Google Docs window. But I like having it in this mode right here because you can grade it. So let's say, let's pretend that I did all of my morning work. Then you could quickly say, okay, there's 5 points there, 5 points completed here, 5 points here, it's all complete, 5 points here, 5 points here, and then you can easily add the grade. And great job, Susie, and then post it. And then I'm all done. And then return the assignment. So student will be notified and can check any grade you've left. So if that's what you want to do, or you can wait till you're all done. But I'm going to save any of that for another video. But just to kind of give you an overview of assigning student work, them giving it back to you, and then you grading it. So just kind of the overview. I made that a little bit longer than I intended to, but if you have any questions or have any difficulty or anything, please email me or submit a comment in our Facebook group or my Facebook page, or message me on Facebook Messenger. I'm going to continue to put out little quick tutorials to help make your digital life easier. All right, I will talk to you later.